We are from Whitmore High School in Barry. My name is Maria Prosser, Head of School.
And I'm Henriette Berto, Associate Assistant Head.
What we wanted to do this afternoon was to explain to you the way that we have used SHRN data in all aspects of what we do in our school. So to give you a little bit of context about Whitmore High School, it's a co-ed secondary school in the heart of Barry in South Wales. It's got 1,170 pupils and it's got the second highest free school meals in the Vale of Glamorgan. It has a really varied catchment area, and in that catchment area we take some of the most children from some of the most deprived areas in Wales. The reason that we use the SHRN data is that we use it alongside all of our other data. The great thing about SHRN data is it covers such a wide area of all parts of school and children's lives. So it enables us to make sure that we know what's going well for us at Whitmore High and what we need to improve on.
So the key things is that the way that we use it is we identify the priorities through SHRN data for how we can improve and maintain mental health and wellbeing standards for learners. We look at all sorts of different areas of that SHRN data to try and improve our SIP for the next year, but we also use that SEQ to make sure that those improvements are aligned, also those priorities are also aligned to the whole of Wales. So it's not just specifically for our school, it's also linked directly to what's important for the rest of Wales.
Okay, so here are some of the things that we do to ensure that we maintain standards in our school. So we look at the areas that are going well, and we make sure that we maintain those standards. So in terms of our well-being for our young people and the relationships that we form with them, that's one of the areas that we do well at Whitmore. So I'm going to talk about some of these in more detail. So we are really proactive about the care and support we give to learners and their family. We are in primary schools before they come up to us. In year 5 and year 6, we are developing relationships with families and young people. And then when they start with us in year 7, it is all about maintaining those relationships. So we give our staff time, directed time to make phone calls home and to develop links with those families. Another thing that we do, which is really proactive, is that we ask our staff to write class rationales. A class rationale is a document that every member of staff has to write for each class that they teach. The purpose of this document is for them to have thought about the children in front of them in that class. They use their IDPs, they use their pupil passports to tailor their learning and their teaching strategies, and then these are then monitored by the Elenco. The other thing that we have done at Whitmore is that we have understood that there are children in our school who really need more than the mainstream offer. So we have developed an area at the back of the school where there are log cabins and a garden and a polytunnel, and we have been able to get children back into school, children with EBSA profiles who otherwise were not attending. We're also really passionate about staff development. Our inset days are really thought through, they are really focused and really relevant. We do support all staff in further education. We encourage staff to study MAs and PhDs, and we make sure that every staff member feels that this is a completely valuable learning experience.
Our PSE programme is really strengthened through the SHRN data. It's something that we base our lesson plans each year on. So we look very closely at our scheme of work and we use that SHRN data to identify in which years we need to be targeting pupils around healthy living, but also around things like sleep, vaping, all those areas which are questioned in that SHRN data we try to use. And we also use it to empower our learners. We feel it's really important that they understand why they're doing that SHRN survey and that they understand what we do with the data from that SHRN survey. So one of the things we like to do is use some of that data within their lessons. Here you can see a Do It Now task for our year 8s, where it's looking at healthy living and the kind of breakfast or who eats breakfast across the years. And they actually do some work around that using the charts, using their numeracy skills, but beginning to understand why they are filling in those surveys for us so that they can see what the results is and they really can see the impact on their health and how we're trying to improve that for them.
So other areas that we we support our pupils in a more holistic approach, and these are a range of interventions that we support our children with through their whole time with us. So, for example, in Year 7, our SHRN data tells us that our children are probably at their most vulnerable in that year group, and kind of need more health and well-being support, settling them into a new school environment. But then as the years go on, there are things like stress busters as they get towards exams, one-to-one mental health check-ins, mini check-ins for support. We have a lovely breakfast club and health and wellbeing initiatives, which means that, for example, on a day like today when we've had exams, there was fresh fruit provided as the children were arriving.
Here you can see some of the charts and the differences between 2021 and 2023, which we're particularly proud of, which is that making sure that we've got that continuous improvement. And you can see here that from the difference from 2021 to difference to 2023 is that across all the years, pupils know where the support is, they feel really supported. So you can see that those targeted programs that we have developed are obviously for the year 7s when we know that they're quite vulnerable, but even the year 11s now, you can see in this chart, are feeling much more supported than they might have initially felt and know what kind of support is available to them. So we can see a much more steady line, if not even a slight increase, which is exactly what we were hoping to achieve through those strengthened relationships with teachers and through a whole variety of different types of interventions to make sure that everyone within our school is feeling supported. That's something that we are going to build on as well going forward. So we're going to be using ongoing SHRN data reviews, obviously looking forward to implementing that for our next rounds. That's going to be launching quite soon. I think it's already on the 9th of June that we can start signing up for that. And we're particularly excited about the SHRN data that will be coming through from our primary schools now that that's going to be available. That's something we're really keen on building further, strengthening further, because we feel already we have very close relations with our primary schools. As Maria mentioned earlier, we try and go in there really early to make sure that we have that support from parents, and we're starting to build up those relationships with our year 7 so that when they come here, they're feeling a little bit more settled. So we're very excited about being able to do that directly through the SHRN data rather than just through any of the other data that primary schools might have collected before. Obviously, some of the other things that you can see in there are again to do with staff development and strengthening those family relationships right from as early on as primary schools.
So in summary, at Whitmore High, our main aim is to ensure that our pupils feel safe in our school and that we are looking at them through a whole school lens. The special thing about SHRN data is that it enables us to do that because it covers all areas of a child's learning, whereas other surveys may just focus on a child's response to well-being or their learning. What we're trying to do then, it gives you a complete overview of everything that is going on in your school, and it enables you then to focus on your strengths and maintain those really high standards, but it also identifies the areas that need to be worked on, and that's something that we have been very committed to. So the SHRN data for us has become an integral part of what we do in our school. Thank you for listening.
And if you'd like a little bit more information, there's a case study on the SHRN website where there's a little bit more information about all of these different areas that we've been focusing on today.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, bye.